Well, hey, welcome to the bench today. I have in front of me this. Ready? I think they put every name on this they could come up with. This is a Squire Fender Stratocaster Bullet Series. Okay? The Fender Squire Stratocaster Bullet Series. Did a little preemptive investigating on this. The pickup height is way too close to the strings. The neck is a banana, and the string gauge is 10. We're going to switch that to a 9. The tremolo bar is locked down to the body. We are going to allow that to float ever so slightly. We'll check all the electronics in this bad boy, clean the fretboard, polish the frets. And get this back to this young man who owns this guitar ASAP, because that's how I roll. I think about right now I'm gonna pull the strings off of it, and then I'll straighten the neck out and make it flat as a pancake before I start. I have inspected the truss rod, and yes, it works. So this guitar does not have the kiss of death. If the truss rod doesn't work in an electric guitar like this, it's a pretty much dead instrument. Yeah, you can play it, but it'll never play as good as it could. So, while I'm taking strings off, I'm going to put you on pause. And the Squire Fender Stratocaster Bullet is stripped of all of its important parts and pieces. You know, it's amazing how dirty a guitar can get. I spend about 50% of my time cleaning them. It's funny. Okay, so that's that. It came with 4 springs that are in a plastic bag here. I pulled the saddle off of there because, woo, I am putting it in my very killer cleaning tool here. Now I'm going to fire it up. Put some simple green in there and clean the hell out of that. And get ready. It's going to look good. Alright, so it's in the cleaner. I'm going to turn it on low. Whoa, I just arrived at work. It's dark. Yeah, it's a lot darker than this camera probably shows. I'll fire up some lights and walk through the beautiful floor, across the beautiful floor and the beautiful instruments. I still have that mandolin that I'm waiting for a customer to come pick up, and a bass that is sold that I'm waiting for a customer to come pick up, and I'm welcomed by this. I get to finish this guitar today. Welcome to work. I have to come to work and deal with this while y'all are dealing with, I don't know, what do you do? Numbers? Wait, let's uncover it really, like so you can actually see the yeah, I have to work on that today. Life is just I don't know what you do for a living, but, you know, if this is what your job was and you were me, you'd be one happy motherfucker. That's for sure. Well, here we are, picking up where we left off yesterday. Oh, and by the way, you notice I'm wearing a new shirt today. If you come into my shop and you smell something bad, especially from me, please come tell me. If I smell bad while I'm at work, which I never do, I shower almost every day. I don't get really fucking dirty while I'm at work. But please tell me if I offend you with my deodorant, because I wear deodorant every day and because I wash my hair. Yeah, it's looking pretty good today. It won't get any longer, but you know, if I stink, tell me. Or if one of my coworkers stinks, tell them. You know, complaining to the owner of the business about somebody stinking when you were in to do business here, really tasteless. Tell the person that you have a problem with. I would do the same thing, and I will do the same thing. If I walk into your place of business and where you work and you smell bad, I'm going to tell you. If you have bad breath, I'm probably going to mention it. If we're on a date and you just have bad breath, I may not say anything, but, you know, okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay. The Fender Squire Stratocaster Bullet Series. I have cleaned up the guitar, just really given it a good spring cleaning, cleaned the knobs and everything. I have, on the back side of this bad boy, straightened out the springs. That's where mine are at on my guitar. It stays in tune perfectly. I don't see any reason to change that. I don't like having them at angles. I don't like the tension that it presents. My guitar stays in tune perfectly. Yes, there are arguments about that. Talk to the internet about that, and talk to people who value that opinion, I suppose. I like to have them straight. That's my opinion, and people pay me to set up their guitars every day, so I've had very good luck with it. No complaints. So today we are going to fly over the fretboard, take a look at that. Wait. Oh, yeah, okay, sorry about the terrible camera work. Yeah, it's pretty dirty. I love this kind of wear and tear, but this is kind of messy, so we're going to clean it all up. That is my next project to do on this guitar. And polish the frets, and then do a full setup. Oh, I got a call coming. Whoop. Alright, so the frets have been polished. Look at that. That's what they look like when they're done. Yeah, shiny. This fingerboard took a little hit right here. There's a nice divot in the fretboard, and there's a real good chunk out of the side of the fingerboard right there. Not much I'm going to do about that, but I am going to clean the fingerboard. Alright, let's see how much gut comes off here. And again, I polished these with my homemade guitar fret polish. And again, it really is very similar to what you might find in Meguiar's. You could buy Meguiar's to polish frets on an instrument like this, and you'd probably be okay with that, as long as it doesn't damage the wood. Never used it before on a guitar, other than to, I have used Meguiar's to clear a ding in the finish on a guitar. Yeah, I've done that. That's a great product. It works really well. What I've found is that the guitar polish, or the polish that I use on my frets, does as good as or better job than that stuff, and I prefer to use my homemade product on it. It's much cheaper than Meguiar's. Let's take a look at this headstock real quick. Notice this guck right here. Look at that. It's like brown, like somebody's been playing this with oily fingers working on a car. Yeah. We'll get rid of all that. I'm going to go ahead and go over this fingerboard. This thing is such a mess. It's literally just covered in dirt. This young man paid me for the work that I'm doing right now, which really pushed him up in line. I've had a few clients do that, and I really appreciate that. Being paid in advance for work that they've never seen me do and have no idea what they should expect. You got a guy working on your guitar. What's going to happen? Is he going to totally mess it up? I think my reputation speaks for itself. Yeah. All right, so I've gone over this fingerboard and gotten it cleaned up a bit. And we'll do a flyby to see what the oh man, look at that. You can actually see the maple, the wood that is used to build this neck, and cleaning off all the excess cleaner from the headstock. Now, it's not rocket science, it's elbow grease. Yeah. And I'll have to go over this with polish on a maple fretboard. I typically will use a guitar polish to clean that off, but now, boy, I don't know if you can see the grain in that wood, but look at that. And that dark spot there above the nut is now gone. I got all the grease off of this guitar and cleaned this thing really well. It's in good shape. The final step is to use a rag and wipe the residue of the simple green off of these frets, basically giving them one final touch, which believe it or not, a clean rag will polish metal. Yep. Even a paper towel is a great step, or newspaper even works really great. Newspaper will dull the finish, but you go over it with a clean rag, you can wipe all that residue off. Just a regular old paper towel. It does have some polishing properties in it. There you go. I am not a clean freak, but if you're paying me to set up your guitar, you're going to get it back clean. I insist. I won't have it any other way. If you don't want me to clean it, take it to somebody else who won't clean it. There you go. No. You can bring it to me. I don't have to clean it, but boy, I sure do insist on doing that because it looks so much nicer. Because that's how I roll. Yeah! Alright, so on this output jack, it's an output jack. Have I mentioned that before? This isn't an input jack. It's an output jack. Yeah. The signal goes out. Nothing goes in. I mean, literally nothing goes in. You can send stuff in there, and we'll see what happens. It's a little loose. Oh, okay. I think it's definitely, the wires are twisted. I'm gonna take this, and this is a real cheesy output jack. It's what they would use on an import. Bend that a little bit, and then we'll put it back in the guitar. Well, let's test it first. See if this feels any better. It just felt really loose going in. Oh, that's much better. Oh yeah. Okay. So little things like that are highly overlooked. Stuff you need to look for when you're changing strings on your own guitar. You know, if you notice the output jack's getting a little loose, that most of the time is the reason that it's feeling loose. It's just simply because it's not that little arm that makes contact in there is not bent far enough to make good contact, or it's just gotten weak after being plugged in and unplugged for so long. Output jack. All right, welcome back. Okay, this is one of my favorite things to do on a guitar. I am putting some Ernie Ball 9 to 42. I'm not using the hybrids. I'm using just a straight old set of Ernie Ball Super Slinkies. Or Slinky. Are they Slinky? Super Slink. Yeah, they're the pink package. But I love doing this. This is so awesome. And I got to tell you, the guitar's upside down, so it's real easy to, if you do this, you got to be careful not to go the opposite direction. But this is so much fun. Yeah! You know, if you work a job that you don't enjoy, you know, if you have an activity like this that you could do and just like make you smile, like you can do that. Oh yeah, right? I mean, it's such a little thing, but it's fun to watch the strings just wobble back and forth when they actually go in there. Ha ha ha. Have patience. Have patience. Don't be in such a hurry. When you get impatient, you only start to worry. Remember, remember that I have patience too. And think of all the times when others had to wait for you. I think I learned that song when I was like 3 years old. That is so much fun. What a great tune. God, give me patience and I want it right now. God, who? I'm waiting for him to show himself. Alright, so here we are back with the Stratocaster, and this is my USB cable hooking up to my camera because my battery's nearly dead. However, these two saddles on this end, you notice how they're tilted, and I wanted to shoot video of this. The G, D, A, and E string, I have adjusted the string action, and you'll notice that the screws are not sticking up out of the top of that. So while you're playing this thing, doing this with your hand, you're not being dug into, whereas these guys down here are sticking up. The way I solved that was put a shim in the neck and tilted that neck back a little bit. Yes, over and above. And all of these saddles, ooh, I'm gonna drop my camera. All of these saddles should be perfectly level with respect to the top of the guitar. As you can see, the ones that I've adjusted are level, and these two are not. I haven't touched those yet. So, if you work on guitars, don't do that. The string potentially, now these do have a slot in the saddle that the string passes through. I don't know. I just don't do that. Make them flat. You can raise and lower these screws simultaneously. If you give this one a half a turn, give the other one a half a turn, and they will be level when you're done. The threads are the same in all of those. So there you go. Another little step in the right direction. Okay, I am asked quite often, dude, you do these setups and then you play the video of you playing the guitar and you bend notes and the guitar stays in tune. And man, I've tuned my guitar up and put brand new strings on it, and the thing goes out of tune the moment I bend a string. Okay. First of all, you're wasting your time if you put new strings on your guitar and you play it and it goes out of tune. And the reason for it going out of tune is because you didn't stretch the strings correctly. Now, here's my process. Now, I've already stretched all of these on this guitar, but I want to show you this. Giving away my tricks of the trade. I may not have stretched everything out of them. I just gave them a real good quick once over so I could bring the guitar up to pitch. So if they do change pitch, so that G string ever so slightly sharp. Okay, that's G. The note G, G string. I love G strings. Okay. Might give it a pull all the way up. From down here at the saddle, I'm just pulling up on it. I'm not gonna break it. Giving it a stretch. Every square inch of it, right? Okay. How's my elbow? You like my elbow in the movie? Okay. Yeah. Okay, now. Oh boy. Look. Having already stretched that string, I was able to get that much out of it. Now, with the floating tremolo, let's look at that. When I pull up on this string, there'll be some movement in that tremolo bar, right? So some of the pitch change in that string is due to potentially this not settling down. I haven't set that up completely yet. I'm just stretching the strings. So grab it with your pointer finger and your thumb and bend it. I'm pushing this direction with my ring finger and my middle finger, my middle finger and my ring finger, and my pointer finger also, like that, and then pushing the opposite direction. You see the string moving that way up there and this way down here. Yeah, just bending it every square inch of that string. That is how I stretch strings. I don't just do that once. I will do that 5, 6, 7 times, 8 times, 10 times, whatever it takes. Typically with Ernie Ball strings, a good number to shoot for is 4 or 5 times per string, doing the whole thing. I'm still getting some stretch out of it. And I've already stretched this thing. But guess what? When I play this guitar, when I first play this guitar and plugged in, I could do this right before a gig, go up on stage, and my guitar will stay in tune all night. Mark that. Take that to the bank. I've got a bridge to sell you. Well, it's the end of the road for this Fender Stratocaster. Wait, it's a Squire. Wait, I'm going to read these in order. Made in Korea, Squire, Fender, Stratocaster, Bullet Series. Made in Korea. Sorry, my amp's buzzing. Yeah, it's the end of the day. String action, intonation, string height, pickup height, all the electronics. Lube in the nut. Stretch the G string. Yeah. My farewell to working on this guitar, because you know, if you cut these off, if you cut these strings off before you're done, Murphy's Law, you will have to take the strings off of this guitar and then mess with that. And if you've never done that before, you have no idea what I'm talking about, because I don't know, but it's not fun to try and restring a guitar with old strings without a tag on it, you know. So these go in the round file, yeah, and the guitar is ready to get demoed. Here it is, the shiny new Fender Stratocaster. And take a look at the frets. Okay. Yeah, this is a. It's got a bunch of names on the headstock. Right. Whatever. Not quite sure why Fender made Squire Strats. They just wanted to go for a price point, for a selling point for children who wanted to learn to play guitar. Or, I suppose you could say that. But this thing. piece.